Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands, and this is going to be a video of all the DVDs and Blu-rays that I picked up in the month of March. Really not picked up that much stuff this month because of what's going on. With that in mind, just like to say I hope everyone's doing okay and everyone's feeling alright and staying safe. Horror Dad is currently isolating just as a precautionary measure, so you just got me for this video, so I'll do my best to hold things steady and show things as best I can. But yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing that I got, put them on here so they're more steady, is 2010 Moby Dick. This is one that I showed off earlier because I got it from a charity shop. Not a bad film, entertaining enough. Really bad CGI. It's one of these low budget sci-fi type films. I find with these kind of films that they're so bad that I just can't sit through them, or they're entertaining enough that I can make it all the way through. And this one is the latter. It's entertaining enough that I could watch the whole thing. And this is like a modern day telling of Moby Dick. So instead of like the old fashioned ships and harpoons, it's military submarines and nukes and things like that. So an updated version of that story. The whale's pretty cool. It gets quite a bit of screen time, but it is really bad CGI. So see how you go with that, depending on whether you like CGI or not. But not too bad. Next movie is 47 Meters Down. Just getting round to seeing this. I thought it was okay. I felt before I watched it that there's only so much you can do with this story, with sort of two characters being trapped 47 metres down in a cage. You know, it's a very limited story, and I think the film did suffer slightly from that. There were times when it just sort of dragged a bit or got a bit repetitive. It was okay. I'm glad I've seen it, but it's, for me, not one of the more memorable or enjoyable shark movies out there. I will still look for the sequel though. Next up is A Cure for Wellness. A Cure for Wellness. This is a really interesting one. Difficult one to explain really. It's this sort of young executive guy. He gets sent by his company to retrieve the company CEO from this wellness centre, which is located in the Swiss Alps. And it's one of them where sort of you can tell that things are not quite right, and a bit of like a Shutter Island vibe in this one. And as things go on and as he discovers more and more about the place, you realise that there's some kind of dark and weird things going on. But it's one that I enjoyed. Really good performance by the people that are in it. Great cast. Not amazing. There's things about it that I would have changed, but certainly a very intriguing film and one that kind of kept me on edge all the way through. So yeah, one that I did really enjoy. Next movie is The Alien Factor, which I believe this Blu-ray is really hard to find now. They only released about 1,000 copies, and it's long out of print, but I managed to find this really cheap. So swooped down on it and got it for the collection. It's a Don Dola film, who I really like his films. He's sort of known for being really low budget but having a lot of heart in his filmmaking. So did things like Fiend and Night Beast, which I loved. This one I really enjoyed as well. Rubber monsters running around all over the place, which is right up my alley. Not as good as Night Beast or Fiend, but still really enjoyable. So really happy to find this one and finally give it a watch. Next movie is Troi. Now I picked this one up. This kind of I was inspired to get this one by the recent extreme horror tag that was going around, and I saw this one mentioned quite a few times. And I have no problem with extreme horror. The trouble is, it's so expensive and so hard to find these movies, especially like unearthed films like this. But I happened to find this one at a really good price, and it's a limited Blu-ray and DVD and soundtrack edition. So really happy to pick this one up. It is a very extreme film. Some really nasty stuff in this. Some really disgusting stuff going on in this as well. Definitely one that I would consider an extreme one and not for beginners. It's a found footage type film which documents these two serial killers who sort of just torture and mutilate and kill victims. But yeah, really, really nasty stuff in this one. It's okay. You don't know if it's hard to recommend these kind of films. I would say if you're aware of this film and you're interested in this film, you probably do like your extreme horror movies anyway. So I don't know, go for it. But I enjoyed it. It was alright for what it was. Next up is Battle Dogs. It's an asylum film, so I wasn't expecting too much from this one, but I have to say this is one of the better asylum movies, and I've read a few reviews that also say it's one of the better ones. So this is about a kind of a werewolf plague which spreads at an airport. People are bitten and it kind of passes through to people, a bit like a virus, which is funny considering what's going on. But yeah, it turns them into werewolves and they go around attacking people, and the military have to deal with it. So it's kind of like the military versus werewolves. So it's good fun, it's action-packed, terrible CGI, but you know, it's asylum. So, but really good cast. Craig Sheffer's in this, so you might remember from Angel. Bill Duke from Predator's in it. Ernie Hudson's in it, and a few other people as well. So yeah, one that I did enjoy. I thought this one was alright. Next movie I've got is Creeazoids. Really silly rip-off of Alien, just done with none of the skill of Ridley Scott's original. I have watched this many years ago, just picked it up because I found the 88 films version really cheap. Have to say I enjoyed it less the second time I watched it, so yeah. Next up is Crescendo, another one that I found in a charity shop while I was by the seaside. Haven't had time to watch this yet, but it will be one that I put on soon. Quite intrigued by this one because it's a Hammer horror film and I had no idea it was, so interesting to see what that one's like. Next up from Severin, got Jack the Ripper. This was a film that, if I remember right, it's from 1959, and at the time it was so kind of lurid and controversial that it was, I don't know if it was banned or censored or something. We watch it now and it's completely tame, but one that was quite notorious back in the day. I really enjoyed it. It's actually very, very light on any kind of blood or violence or horror in that sense, but it's a really interesting film. It's quite an interesting take on the Jack the Ripper kind of story, and I enjoyed it for its kind of old-fashionedness. I do enjoy my 50s movies, so yeah, quite an enjoyable film. Next up, got Nightmare Cinema, anthology film. Saw a lot of people picking this one up, and I really enjoyed this one. Watched this one right at the beginning of the month, so I don't remember too much about it, but I think pretty much every segment in this I really enjoyed, particularly the first one, which is a bit of a kind of a slasher creature feature all moulded into one. It's a really good story, really clever how they do it. So yeah, really, really enjoyed Nightmare Cinema. Definitely recommend that one. Next up, another one that I got right at the beginning of the month. This is the one that Terror for Tom sent me, which I'm really grateful for, and it's Spookies from Vinegar Syndrome. I watched this many, many years ago. I watched this on a Vipco VHS, which is showing how long ago I saw this. So watched it again since getting it on Blu-ray. Really, really enjoyed it. Such a fun film, quite irreverent. There's a lot of random stuff going on, but if you like sort of monster movies and creature features, it's one of the best for that. In terms of like acting and everything else in the film, it's pretty much average, but the monsters in it and the creatures and the effects are just absolutely fantastic, and there's just so much random stuff going on. You never know what's going to happen next. You never know what kind of monster's going to appear next, which I really like that about the film. So really nice to see this again and add it to the collection. Thank you, Terror for Tom, for that. Next movie is Super Croc. picked up quite a few of these crappy CGI films this month, but not had time to watch this one yet. Not heard a single good thing about this. In fact, anyone that has talked about this I don't think they've even been able to make it through the film. Everyone said it's terrible, so I'm not in a massive rush to watch this. I will watch it because, quite frankly, I've heard so much bad stuff. I'm intrigued to see how bad it is. So, in a way, my expectations for this are so low, I might even end up enjoying it. You never know. And next up, from Scream Factory, got The Vampire. I believe this is from 1957. This is one that I really enjoyed. Really cool 50s film. I don't think it's about a vampire. It's more of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. It's this doctor who somehow manages to mix up these pills that he's taking, and it kind of gives him this sort of like bloodlust kind of thing, where he attacks people and kills people. But there's very, very little vampirism in it. Like I say, it's more like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and then a bit of sort of werewolfiness at the end when he transforms. But I really enjoyed this. It's a really cool film. As I say, I do like my 50s films, and this was a really good one, so happy to pick that one up. And the last film, like I say, been a very quiet month this month, is Witch House from Full Moon. Just saw this for really cheap. Watched it, enjoyed it, very, very cheesy. Nothing special about it, but did have some good moments. Terrible acting and things like that, but some pretty decent makeup effects and things going on in it. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. So that's everything that I've got this month. Let me know if there's anything there that you particularly like or dislike. Like I say, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm hoping things pick up in the next few months and I can start buying more DVDs again. So yeah, thank you for watching that, and stay tuned for more videos.